So for today's video, we're going to be adding just a simple texture onto this mesh to make it seem like it has more of like a rough feeling to it. There's plenty of ways you can add different textures to your models, but I'm just going to show one that's like already in Blender. Now there are ways to use like noise textures to add cracking and stuff to it, but just for the sake of the length of the tutorial series, we're going to keep it really short and not add that right now. I might do that in a later video though. Alright, first what you're going to want to do is select the part of the mesh that you want to add the roughness to. I'm going to do the head base plate. And then all you're going to want to do is press Shift A and then add a noise texture. And all you have to do is you have to plug the color into the roughness of the principled BSDF. You can adjust the scale factor right here to make it however you want. You can kind of see the white light shining off of it a little bit, but this just gives it more of like a rough, solid looking texture rather than just leaving it kind of blank and plasticky looking. If you select the eyes, you can also make them more shiny by turning the roughness all the way down or just a little bit up. But yeah, all in all, this just makes it look a little better. Now what we're going to do is go into the world shading. Make sure you keep saving your projects because I actually didn't save the texture paint from the last video, and then I had to redo it all by hand, so that's why it looks a little different for this video. Make sure that you're in the render engine cycles when you go over to this little camera icon over here, and then all we're going to do is press Shift A and add a light. We're going to add a sunlight. This just makes it so that it's way brighter than any of the other kinds of lights, and then we're going to turn the strength up just a little bit. And then next we're going to do Shift A and add a camera. This is going to be what's in the image when you render out your final product. If you go to the View tab and then go to Lock Camera to View, it makes it so that every time you move your camera around in the 3D viewport, the literal like object camera will follow with it. And then when you uncheck it, it'll just stay right where you left it. If you go to the Object tab right here for the camera and select it, you can change which way it's rotated or just where it is in general, I guess. I like to keep mine a little rotated for this one because it makes it more dynamic. Next, we're going to add a point light. This is going to make it seem like there's something that's like bouncing off of it. If you look at images or pictures in real life, there's this thing called ambient occlusion that makes it so that light bounces off of things. So, you know, if the sun hits the ground, it's going to add a little bit of light after it bounces and then hit something that's on top of the ground, if that makes sense. I'm going to add a little bit of a blue hue to it. You can really use whatever color you want because I'm going to make the background for this a darker color. If you go to the World tab right here, you can actually change the color of the background. Like if you want it to be all white right here, then that's fine. And then if you go to Render and then Render Image, you can kind of see the output right here, and it already looks pretty good. If you go to the Render tab, you can turn down the amount of samples that it has, or up. I don't know what yours is currently at, but I think 2,500 is a pretty good number to do, and make sure that you had the denoiser on. So the more samples you have, the less noise it's going to have. But if your amount of samples that you have is like super duper high, you can just turn on the denoiser and then it doesn't even have to go that high. Because the more samples that you have, the longer the render is going to take. Now rendering is going to be different for everybody depending on what kind of computer you have. So just to tweak the settings as you really need to. I'm sure you could even get away with having like 100 samples in it. As long as you have that denoiser, it'll probably still turn out pretty good. Next I'm going to go to the World tab and then change my color. I'm actually going to add something to it, and it's going to be the volume scatter node. I'm going to connect the volume to the volume of the world output, and it's going to make everything really dark right now. Now, adding a volume scatter node kind of changes how the lights work, I guess, but it can actually create some really cool stuff. I'll show you what I mean. Like, for instance, adding God rays into this, but for now, we're just going to turn the density of the volume scatter to 0.2. If you go to the finalized shading, you can kind of see the light doing its magic already. But as you can see, turning the sun up isn't really doing a whole lot because the lighting for this is going to be a little bit different. So instead of the sunlight, we're actually going to add a spotlight. Position it where you want it to, and then we're actually going to add a plane after this. Now this method is going to be a little bit scuffed. You'll see what I mean, because you would think that this is going to be like a super complicated setup, but once you see what I do, it's just like, oh, okay, that was cheap. If you turn off the power of the spotlight, you'll be able to see the light a bit more. We're going to turn this thing way up, like way, way up. I think 1,400,000 is about pretty good for this light. Once you've made it to the point where the light sounds like it can kill you, that's probably where you want to be. Alright, now we're going to add that plane in here. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to scale it up and then go into edit mode and then right click and subdivide. If you go to the bottom left right here, you can actually subdivide it several times just so that you don't have to keep clicking. And then next you're going to select some of the faces from here and you're just going to delete them. Once you press X and delete all the faces, you can put this over the little spotlight here. I assume you can see what we're doing now. We're just putting this over the light so that the little rays can just shoot right through it. And you can add as many holes as you want depending on how many rays you want. Like if you only want a few rays, it'll come out like this. The bigger holes that you have, or the more holes you have, the more the rays will be blended in with the light. I'm going to stick with this amount of holes. You can see there's a lot of big ones and a lot of tiny ones. This gives it more variety. But now you'll be able to see the final output of it, and it looks really, really crazy. Like, this Blender program can just give you some of the best results from even the simplest things. Now if we go to the render and then render image, you can actually just have it rendered out right here. And again, it might take a while, so you might need to sit back away from your computer and just let it go. Whenever it's done rendering, you're going to want to go to image and then save, and then you can really just name the file whatever you want, and then save it onto your computer wherever. But once you open that image, it'll be your final product, and it should look something similar to this. When you're done with that, just close out and then save your project, and then there you go. That is the Majora's Mask. Thanks for watching this video, and thank you for watching this series if you've been going along with it. And if you finish the tutorial series and end up posting it, tag me in it and I'll repost it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again very soon.